Okay, folks, so I had a fun scenario. I thought I had a 2.25, 2.5 pound lo pork tenderloin, and when I opened the package, it turned out, and for me, that's too large. I don't think it's really tenderloin if the loin is that large. Um, because there's a difference between a pork loin and a pork tenderloin. And pork tenderloins tend to be darkish meat and long and tubular, whereas something that comes in a bag, a wrapper like this large, is usually not a tenderloin, it's usually a loin, which means it has all the dry bits. And so I'm very happy because you really only want a 1.25 pound tenderloin if you're intending to serve tenderloin. And I can see that I don't need to do much work on it. However, um, I need to get my very sharp, this is the boning knife, and you have to get off all the silver skin. And I think that's what this is. There's not a lot on here. But, and then we're going to make something pretty simple. I don't want to get too complicated tonight. Um, I'm just going to do sage, apple cider, glaze, maybe garlic. Nothing, I don't have a lot of summery ingredients like apricots or plums available at this stage, so we're going to do the fall autumn version. And I think this is not really silver skin, but it's connected to the silver skin. So let's pull it off. Yeah, it's just a membrane, but we don't need that. By the way, hasn't been, there's no requirement to bring this to a room temperature. That's silver skin, by the way, and it's tough as all get out. It's a connective tissue that connects the tendon to the muscle, and it's silvery, if you can see. So we just want to get that out. I feel very lucky, fortunate that there's not a lot on here, but even a little bit will ruin the joy of eating because it'll get you because you can't chew it. So we're just gonna get it all out like that, and then I'm gonna truss it with twine, butcher's twine, which is cotton. Now I see a piece that looks like it's under the muscle. Just try to do your due diligence because you don't want your guests to have to chew on all that. It's just not, it just ruins it. It ruins the experience. Now, because this thing is very thin on one end and thick on the other, we're going to truss it so that it has an even manner of cooking, or so that it can cook evenly. And I have to wash my hands again. This could be a primer on how to truss the tenderloin. So we need quite a length. Take out twice as much as you think you need. You'll cut it off later. And what you're going to do is you take it around your hand like that. And you start, doesn't matter what end you start at, but I'm going to start at the folded end. And we're going to put it in there. And we're going to pull that through like that. Oops, I didn't get it all the way in. And then we're going to put it in the hand again, like that. Place it over. Pull it all through, like that. And you're going to keep going. So I'll just keep going, blah, 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 like that. Pull it all through. It's kind of like knitting. in a way. And I'm going to just finish it in front of you because the final stage is not that obvious. Okay, so we got another end here to stick in, and we're going to pull it all through like that. And then we're going to do the final end like this, pull it all through. But, okay, now I've got a fat end and a thick end. We're going to go underneath. We're going to pull it together by going under and over. Well, no, it's kind of like under and twist. Under and twist. And now you've got a solid piece, under and twist, and we've got this pulled up. You know, the whole point is to get the temperature internally the right, even. Otherwise, you'll have dry at one hand, on one end, and not, and too pink on the other end. So then you pull it together, and you have a trussed up piece like that, and then you fold it over like that, and do the final tie off, and then we're going to get ready to, hold on, let me get this ready. I need to do it like this. Can you imagine working in a restaurant and making 40 of these? Okay, so, butchers do it all the time. So, I just want to cut this. And now we have a piece that has a kind of a depth and a thickness that is pretty even. Alright folks, so now we're going to season it on all sides. Salt, using my hand for one side for turning it, one side for seasoning. And that's salt, this is pepper, blah 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 blah. And one thing I want to do before I add the sage leaves is roll it in some, I've minced this garlic, 2 large cloves. You don't need to. A lot of them will fall off. So we can put that plate away. And then I'm going to place these fresh sage leaves. You only need around 6 of them, like 2 on every side for the flavor. We're going to garnish with them. So let's just do that. And then we're going to sear the pan. We're going to brown all 4 sides and the ends, 2 minutes each. Use your twine as a guide for this, and the aroma is already coming out. And we're going to reserve some of these leaves for chopping for garnish. Try not to be too rough while doing this. I think I'm doing quite a lot of rough puff here because I'm trying to be fast. And I don't want to take the twine off its job, which is to hold it together. And let's try this side. The aroma is coming out of the leaves. By the way, all of this will shrink when it's pan frying, but we're going to finish it in the oven. So voila, there's your prepared loin, and it's got a perfect thickness. And we're just going to do our best to keep it that way. Meanwhile, I have to get my oven-proof skillet out and turn the heat of the oven up. I think it's 400, but I'm not sure at the moment. I can't remember. That's it for now. Okay, friends, I'm just heating up this pan. We have our trussed up, perfect loin. So I'm going to use olive oil, but you could use another kind of, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm going to look for my grapeseed oil and I'm going to blend it because we know that olive oil has a low smoking point and grapeseed oil doesn't. So we're just going to blend some flavors. We're going to look for a little bit of sizzle. There is no sizzle. And we're going to brown, when you hear the water sizzling, you know that this temperature, you don't want to see smoke. That means the oil is burning and it's not good for you and it's not good for anything. Okay, I hear the sizzle. And I think there's probably too much oil in there, but let's just take some out. Okay. But safflower oil and grapeseed oil has no flavor, and olive oil does, and I can smell the flavor, so that's nice. In the meantime, I have my oven going up to 400. We're going to sear this. I hear the noises. I'm going to turn the fancy side down. I hear crackle, and I have my tongs. And this is where I'm going to try to use the timer. When the pan is cooler, meaning only this hot, we do 3 minutes. This is actually a good lesson because I like to use the timer for browning because I don't think we really always get the browning right. And I'm going to throw in the garlic, leftover garlic, into the pan. I have this at just above medium high, and we're going. This stage should take 10 minutes maximum, and you just leave it alone, and then you turn it and do 2 minutes. Turn it, do 2 minutes because it will heat up. So the first side is going to take 3 minutes. We're going to turn, and then we're going to do the ends. And then the entire thing is going into the oven at 400, and for 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to check the temperature at 15. And then we're going to do the glaze, which is going to involve your trusty chicken stock, and in my case, I had to buy this even though cider, even though we have about 100 gallons of cider back at the farm that my dad made with my nieces and sister. 1 more minute on that side. This will continue to heat up. That's why you just start it at 3 minutes and then you convert, turning down as you go. Alright friends, so now we're turning it. That's been 3 minutes. Look at the beautiful browning you have. Keep the oil going. And this side should be, oh, and you have the garlic and you have the sage. Kind of like, just, it's kissing the oil and it's kissing the meat. So let's do this one for 2 minutes. And after that, you don't really need, you'll get the point when you'll see what kind of brownness you've done and you want, and then you don't need to do the timer anymore. All right, so the oven is at 395, and it's almost the right temperature to put this in the browned tenderloin. It's a beauty. Here, it's 400. Put it in. Set the timer for 15 minutes for a temperature check and get ready for the glaze. Okay, friends, it's been 15 minutes. Remember, the worst thing you want is dried out pork loin. So, there she is, or he, or whatever. And we want to test the interior of the thickest part, and we want it to be at 150 minimum. Oh yeah. All right. So I have 155. This immediately goes on a plate because the rest of it might not be. We don't want it to continue cooking. This is a hot pan, and so we have to do due diligence and get it out of there and turn off the oven and maybe even tent the meat so it stays, nice and hot. There we go. So we have our pork loin beautifully cooked. The juices are running, and we're going to tent this, and we're going to use those juices in the sauce. I wiped out all the burnt garlic because that's not not usable. And here's some juice from the meat. So we need that. And then I'm just going to throw in a splash of apple cider. Not apple cider vinegar, actual apple cider. And a splash of chicken stock. And we're going to reduce this. We're going to chop up these leaves for garnish. They're sage. I don't think I need to salt and pepper this at this point, but we do need to be able to strain it. Anyway, so maybe I'll throw some of those in. And I think I'm going to add a little honey. Now, you know what I'm going to do? More apple cider. This is the autumn vibe. This is the autumn vibe. And, but autumn and honey is not separate. So let's do that. I have our local honey. And we want this to be a syrupy sauce. In the meantime, we got our rested pork loin with the beautiful dark juices. Add those into the plate. And now we're going to carve it. And before you do that, you have to get out all the strings. You don't want one of those in your mouth because it's hard to. You'll think it's food, and it's actually just something you can't chew. So we're untrussing the loin, which has been crusted in garlic and sage, as you can see. And I would like to do it on the platter here. And we're going to slice look at the beauty of the pinkness of that. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh yeah, that's really beautiful. That's the right temperature. You need pinkness, moisture. It's still very hot. I think it's been resting for probably 20 minutes. And this is going to go on your plate with your side dishes. And it's gorgeous. And there's nothing like it. But the fact is, it's actually technical situation. Nobody gets a perfect loin like that without trussing it and cooking it in the oven to temperature. I mean, the worst thing is dry pork, and pork is dry. Okay, so we have that. This is not where we want it yet. I have the temperature up a bit. And I just want to show you how pretty the meat is. Just a second. It's really good. This is quite beautiful. And I would like to, I think I have shown you before what happens when the honey, we add the butter, and we're going to get something more like a glaze. And we're going to continue to reduce that, and we can place this on a plate with your side dishes. Let's just see if I can place it on a plate with side dishes. Just a moment. Yeah, I just have to get a dish out. But the whole idea here is to get this reduced to a glaze. Okay, I've got my gorgeous mash here, which is very nice. Hold on, let's get a bit of the top so it's on the top. Like that. I have some veggies that I'll put on the side. And I want to take the beautifully moist pork tenderloin here. That's another portion. Actually, this is bigger than a portion. And then this is going to be, is coming down to a sauce thickness. You can see by the trails the wooden spoon leaves. So notice like this pinkness and the heat is part of the reason you tent and rest. Let's turn this off. It's going to thicken continuously. And I just want to pour it over the meat and the mash. And we'll pour it over the vegetables. And then we add some beautiful, sage as a garnish. So that's a beautiful plate.